Right, it's time for Joy News Interactive, and Aisha Ibrahim is here. Good evening to Aisha.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
The first day of the weekend. I'm hoping it will be a fantastic weekend for me. How about you, Israel?
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be a fantastic one too.
At least you get to rest.
I just want to rest.
You need
over the
it.
weekend.
You need it, Israel. So, welcome to the most interactive segment. It's the most authoritative. Join the conversation via social media. We are on facebook.com/Joy News on TV. It's the same name on Twitter. Please hashtag Joy News Prime. Send us an email. The address is joynewsim@multitvworld.com. And send us a WhatsApp also. Please don't call. The number is 0560-800,000. The number again, 0560-800,000. Please don't call. The segment is brought to you by Airtel. The smartphone network offers you more talk, longer text, and more internet browsing. All you need to do, dial *202# to enjoy these benefits and more. I'll be back.
Joy News
So this week, South Africa was hit by the biggest student protest since apartheid ended in 1994. The students were protesting against increases in university tuition fees. Now, the protests got violent as police fired rubber bullets to drive protesters away from the grounds around the president's office. Easy. I was talking to you earlier about students protesting. I think we've had our fair share in Ghana, and now it's South Africa. I can say our neighbors. What is it with students? Because some time ago, I think yesterday or so, polytechnic students were also protesting, paying some amount of money to resolve their energy crisis.
I've been following the South African protests, and I'm sure that there's one photo actually that came across, and I thought it was really, it personified or it talked about exactly what these people are looking at. Let's take a break.
Okay, so we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll listen to the president's speech, who intervened in the whole thing, and then we'll also Skype with one student from South Africa. We can now Skype with Michael Janyako, who is a PhD student at one of the tertiary institutions. Michael, I know the South African president has stepped in. So what is the situation in South Africa now?
I mean, there are student protests all over the country at the moment. Initially, it was announced that we're going to be between 10 and 12% increase in university tuition, which as of now is about $3,000 on the average for undergraduate students, minus residential fees, which is also around the same figure per year. So for many South African students, especially for Black South Africans, this is not something that is affordable and sustainable, because they themselves do not have sufficient funds to be able to support themselves. Neither do many of their parents do. So this is a very huge movement, a movement that is going on right now to put pressure on government to make education as much as possible affordable for all who are qualified to be admitted into these institutions. I mean, there are 10, 20, some, but the majority test is
I think we're having problems with network.
Yeah, the line is deteriorating.
Hello?
Yes, now the line is clear, Michael.
Yes, as I was saying earlier, this is a huge student movement.
But we know that the president has intervened. So are you still protesting?
Well, the president said that there's not going to be any increases, but the president does not directly make policy for the universities. So there has to be some sort of a financial commitment
Right.
that the universities are going to be subsidized in such a way that they have enough money to cater for the increases that they envisaged would provide them with funding for the next academic year. So the promise may provide some light, but what students are actually looking for at the moment, it's the financial commitment that
So does it
these
mean that
increases.
you guys are not satisfied with what the president has done? So would you continue protesting?
I think for now, the protests are still ongoing, but I mean, within the coming days, we look to see what actual commitments in terms of government committing to providing specific funding for the universities. Because from the universities' point of view, they do not wish to increase fees, but they are not sustainable if they don't increase the fees. And they depend on subsidies from government. So if government subsidies are not coming in and they need money to run the affairs of the universities, the only way they can do that is to increase student fees, because students are the users of education.
Well, thank you
And
very much, Michael Jan. That was Michael Jan Nyako, a PhD student in South Africa. He says that the protest still goes on because they are looking for some commitment from government, which they've not had yet. So they'll be hoping to get that from government. Let's get on to WhatsApp. Israel, what are people saying
Well, I don't
about
have
this?
any WhatsApp message on this particular issue. We're talking about the South African protest, but there are a couple of messages that have come having to do with the earlier story about the MPP.
Okay.
You know, the MPP and their issues that they're having. All right, so there's this one coming through. It says DKM should pay the principal amount with urgency because time value of money has devalued, and it has to do with a story about DKM where people who had kept their deposit, customers of DKM, pounced on or converged, besieged the premises of DKM to try and retrieve their monies. And he also adds, Bright Edu says, everywhere the Africa economy is experiencing backlog. Bright Edu sent through that one. I have this other message coming through. This South African students' protest should be replicated in Ghana too, from Kosovo, in Keta, Kosovo, sending through that message to us. Thank you, Kosovo. And so most, comments on the Afoko issue with MPP. Prince Moro Boku says, I'm a proud Northern and a proud Caribbean member of the MPP. I was part of the delegates who voted for Paul Afoko in Tamale. I voted for Afoko not because he's a Northern, but because I needed a positive change in the leadership for my party. I never knew I was voting for a directionless, visionless, and a war-loving person. Okay, think you're being a bit too harsh on Paul Afoko, so I end the message there. And I have this one from... Okay, Samuel Soku from Akachi says, I'm always inspired when I hear the voices of people like Israel Kojo Ponkruma. Oh, thank you very much, Samuel Sosu, for that message. Do you have anything else? Okay, so I have Maxi from Bimbila says, we, the MPP supporters in the North, are solidly behind the decision to suspend Afoko. I'm sure that's what you're referring to. Anything on Facebook?
Our network is not responding yet. We're still trying to get your messages on Facebook. Once we get that, we'll read. But let's get on to the other story. We've all been concerned over the poor examination results that are being declared lately. If I told you that there was a foolproof way of passing your exams without studying at all? So let's check online what's happening here. Pastor sells holy pens that make students pass exams without studying. Claims
the more you pay. What's he trying to say? The more you pay, the more you pass. I'm sure that's what. The more you pass, that's what he's trying to say. So Christian gone mad pastor sells holy pens that make students pass exams without studying. Claims the more you pay, the more you pass. And people are sending in comments that we can tell.
That's interesting.
Benson calls says, and lazy Ghanaians will buy it rather than studying to pass exams.
Exactly.
Ghanaians are not lazy. Please give
But
us a break.
I'm just wondering how.
There's some lazy ones.
I'm wondering how this will work.
Well, you probably will want to buy the pen to see.
You've been giving a course outline, you've given areas and you won't learn, you sleep over them and
yeah,
then you
get
and
a
then
pen.
the pen will be writing just like that.
Yes,
wow, this should be a magic pen.
So, Jorge Selassie Tiro says, haha, I remember in the year 2011 when I was going to sit for my BEC, a similar person just like this one came around claiming to sell the same stuff, but the difference was with that was nobody can or should copy
see you use that pen.
If someone should see you use the pen, it would lose its potent powers to make you pass your exams.
So how can that be?
He seriously thought we're fools. We in technological world, people, wise up.
Tom Aquinas Samba says, Jesus, the Ghanaian citizenry has sunk so low in what, gullibility? Or what's he trying to say?
Gullibility. But no. Thomas, just get this one straight. This is not, this story is not in Ghana actually.
I think it's in Ghana.
No.
Okay,
Zimbabwe.
I'm going to Zimbabwe.
So it's coming from Zimbabwe.
It's
so
Zimbabwe.
hold it, Thomas.
So hold on.
Yeah.
Don't escalate yet.
All right, so Nantoma says, it's high time the Christian Council took notice of these occultic pastors called men of God. They're going too far, and the good pastors out there are just quite watching these vampires misleading the innocent people. What a barbaric act. And we have the same vampires who call themselves pastors endorsing adultery. Example. Okay, so again, the story is not from Ghana. This story is coming from Zimbabwe. So
it's from Zimbabwe.
It's not a local pastor.
I'm wondering how it will fit in Ghana because we're not lazy people.
I have this message. I just said pen. I have this message coming from Nihad. Why he says, "Will the pen write for you, or the individual has to write
apply
him
some
or
energy for the
lazy students?" He says.
Interesting. So that's where we draw the curtains for Joy News Interactive. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. It's a Friday. Make sure you have fun.